Good morning, Brian with Grand Roofing. We're doing a quick video repair in the drizzle because you guys constantly are asking for the uncut, unedited repair videos. It's not the most ideal working conditions, but it needs done, and we're still in the middle of winter here in central Indiana. It just happens to warm up a bunch today, about 44 degrees, I think. Nice little rain and drizzle, and we're gonna do us a little repair right here. This one, and by the way, you see another camera here. This GoPro is about dead, so if it goes out, we're gonna switch to that camera right there. We're gonna start by going over what we need and how to do this. Because this repair is up higher, we're gonna have to get into the ridge cap on this. I don't believe I've covered repair so high up on a ridge cap like this. Maybe I have, how people cut corners and trim it down. But anyways, there's 2 shingles here missing. There's 1 cut and broke missing there. But if you look at these 4 shingles, they've been creased and damaged right here. So we're gonna go ahead and replace these. And also, this is not an insurance video. This isn't about getting insurance to buy it. It's not going that route. This is just a video of how to replace shingles. Some things you're gonna need: repair shingles. These are from the homeowner's garage. They had leftover original shingles from the original install. It is a TAMKO shingle. Most shingles you can't identify on the back cellophane strips. You can clearly see TAMKO out of the Frederick plant right there. Usually date codes and things they can reference back to exactly when this was manufactured. She has just enough here to do this repair. We're gonna need the 2 that are missing, 2 above and 2, so like 6 shingles at least, and we're gonna get into it. As far as tools, Hatchet, AJC Mag Hatchet makes it really easy because it's got an embedded neodymium magnet in here. So you can not just pick them up, but you can actually use, well, let me put the GoPro on. You can actually have a hand up like this holding the shingle while you strike, and it holds it. On a hot summer day, you can also kind of just press the shingle in there and then you can drive it down. But anyway, a hatchet works great if you're gonna do this kind of stuff often. I'll leave a link in the description to this by AJC. Get it on Amazon, your roofing supply places, maybe not your box stores. It is a little bit more, so if you do this in any extent other than a one-off, this will save your fingers and help you be productive. Otherwise, just a hammer, a flat bar, pop the nails out, prep the area, and of course your shingles. I use 2 different knives. You don't need to. May not need my hat today, it's warmer. I have 2 knives here, one set up as a straight blade, one set up as a hook. The reason is because I like to cut both sides of the shingle. If you're primarily going to cut the top side of the shingle, you're going to want a hook knife because it cuts into the granule through it and then cuts the mat. If you're cutting from the back side, straight blade works good. You can cut straight nice lines and snap the shingle. I'll show you that in the process if I need to cut something. I don't want to do it now because that's all she has to do this to match this roof here. So really that's it, and then a tube of caulking, some sort of sealer to stick it down after you're done, because this time of year it's never going to stick with what's up here. And if it's compromised seal strip, it's not gonna reactivate either. So a little sealer. Apologize for the sound of my voice. I do have a little bit of a cold I've been kind of getting over. And gloves if you want. And we'll get started on this. Hopefully it'll be a fairly short video, but uncut, unedited, because that's what you guys want. A lot of the homeowners trying to figure out how to do this stuff on their own. That's what I'm trying to do. This is last year, 2023 was just really busy for me. I haven't had time to do too much repair work. All right, so I need to get this shingle and this shingle out up into the box vent here. So what we're gonna do is start removing the hip and ridge on one side. If this shingle folds over, for example, if this folds over and they shot that, we'll have to get in there farther. Sometimes you can just cut it, but we might have to go a little further. And because it laps this direction, we're gonna start right here. I need to get this out. Start with this one. And just start with your flat bar, getting these nails out. My other good flat bars at my building, I forgot to grab it. So we're using this one that does not have much of a bend to it. Whatever you got, make do. Get the nails out of these seal strip areas for the hip and ridge pieces. And then we'll be ready to put it back. Once you get these shingles out and prepped. TAMKO is really good for the fact of it doesn't ever activate, doesn't ever stick down. This roof's probably 15 years old. 10 to 15, I think is what she was saying. She doesn't remember how old it is. But you can see they don't really stick. We've about got enough out to get 1 shingle out of here. What I'll do is I'll probably work my way, taking everything out as I go, instead of row by row like a typewriter. My other bar has a little bit more of a flat notch, more of a bend here, and it can pry them up a little easier. in here. That was actually cut. Somebody cut that really small. Yeah, you can see there's no top part. I didn't slice it. Somebody was sloppy in their cut mark here because they're technically only going under that much. So we're just going to prep this as we go. Any of the nails out, any areas, make sure you pull them, or minimum pound them in. I like pulling them, it works a little bit better. Because if not, I mean, I've seen a lot of guys over the years, wham bam, thank you ma'am, they throw a new shingle without prepping it. On a hot summer day this summer, it'll poke through because it's still raising up under the shingle. Those are just the people that don't care about the quality of the repair. So if you're a DIYer and you want to do your stuff to make sure it lasts, make sure you prep it correctly and remove the nails like this, because if not, that will break through the shingle every time. The next hot summer we get. Alright, so this here is just about prepped and ready. These 3 shingles right here. I'm just using this to kneel on, keep my knees kind of dry. Weather's not been super cooperative, but as I said, it's January 23rd, 24th, 2024, something like that. We just got through a pretty nasty cold snap, below 0, snow. I'm happy to get back out in it a little bit. You can also put this back with an air nailer too if you want. No bigger than it says, it's not really worth it for me to set up the airlines, compressor, power, all that good stuff. I just opted to do this with a Hatchet. It's pretty much just as quick by the time you take time to get everything else out. Just make sure that if you are going to use a pneumatic, that you are cautious on the pressure and depth of the cone. Not the gauge. The gauge is different than the depth of the cone. Basically, the gauge is how high the shingle rests if you're using the gauge, but then in this case, what you're looking for is the cone on the gun is the safety switch to allow the trigger to be fired or to allow the air to flow through the next series of valves. If it's higher up, that piston stroke comes down, you can blow through your shingle mat on a hot summer day. You just need to adjust that. Make sure it's not going to embed them too deep or underdrive them. Start double checking everything, make sure it didn't miss any. Those are good. Gotta clean this up right here a little bit. You can either put your sealer down as you go, or once it's all done, then put it all in. I'm gonna go ahead and put it in after I'm done, so I'm not squishing it out, making a mess on my knees. You're gonna make sure of a couple of things. Anytime you need to offset something, like right here is where this one normally was right here, we're actually gonna cut and piece a tab in, being cautious not to tear the underlap head side of this here, but I gotta offset this. Some guys are just gonna throw it up over, stack it. I'm actually gonna cut it, make it try to be clean, and then piece a tab in. So we're just gonna run this down so my pattern won't change, but I'll add a tab here. So knowing that, we're gonna just make sure that there's no nail in this zone, just like normal. Try to make sure your nails are in the common bond as best you possibly can. Not visible, not too low, but just don't go crazy high, because that's why you get a lot of wind damage. And then anything that's old, that may be compromised, don't hesitate to add a nail there too. Already soaking. Yeah, I thought we were gonna skate right through this year, this winter, not have a very bad winter. It's real mild because they said it was the what is it, the opposite. I don't know, it's the La Nina or El Nino, whichever is the one where the pattern's warm and wet. That's the supposed weather pattern we're supposed to be having. So I thought we were gonna do good and get through this year, but nope, she did come. We haven't had a crazy amount of snow, but enough to like it. I was going through the comments the other day. One of the videos I did a year or two ago, it's been doing rather well again, and a lot of the comments people are saying they're just trying to fix their own roof because money's tight and all. So if this video can help, that's what I'm doing it for. If you could, give it a quick thumbs up. And then also, in that video, I noticed that people kept saying where they're from. Well, I watched the video back, and I was like, hey, if you're watching this, where are you watching it from? What state, what city, what country? Take a second, leave me a comment down below, let me know. It was fun to read those kind of comments. We're going to trim this up to near the top, not sloppy like the last guy did. So, cutting from the top side, we're just marking it and cutting it. That's where a hook blade comes in good if you're cutting the top granules. And then if you're cutting the bottom, this side straight blade works really well. We're going to tack these in, and then fix this piece, and then nail our cap off, our hip and ridge back down, and we're going to be good to go. I'm not going to put the full 5 or 6 nails in on this, because each one of these ridge cap is going to actually have another nail in it. I just don't want it moving. During a normal install, you still put your standard shingle nails in per shingle. Hope my camera is still rolling. I did not look to see if my GoPro batteries were charged or not. So I got out there, they're all pretty much dead, so I'm trying to put it up on this one. Alright, so here on this one, I'm going to try to cut it back about here so it's offset from that. We're also going to add a little sealer under there. So we're going to cut this to that 5-inch mark or so back from the staggered pattern. Reach up under a little bit if you can, not cutting the shingle under it. And then take your flat bar using this wedge, shove it up in between the shingle right there, and then you can just gently cut that shingle up. Right there. There it is. Good. We're going to use the shingle I'm kneeling on. Butting it to right here is a double thick. I'll show you the straight blade on the back side. Marking it on the back side, just simply cut through as straight as you can. In a double build-up, you might need to score it once or twice, but you're not cutting through the entire shingle. And then it just snaps real easy. In the hot summer, it's very gentle. It just scores right through. You want to be careful not to cut your work underneath it. Because of this keyway here and what I've got going on, we're just going to use a cheap tar to seal that. Right down here. That's shoved up under. Make sure my camera doesn't fall over. Hopefully we're still rolling. Double check that nail, that's good. I gotta nail this one off just a little bit here. We are down to basically just nailing off the ridge cap here. It's a bit easier when it's warm out, and it's not so miserable when it's dry. But they want this leak stopped or this repair done so no further water comes in. And we're confident that's what we do, so we're not going to complain, we're going to do it. If you've noticed, some of these nails I'm using to put in are barbed. That's because these were at one point a coil nail for the pneumatics, and over time they get broken, bent, thrown off, destroyed. You'll find some here and there. I keep them just for that reason, so I'm not buying hand nails and just clipping when I'm bored or not doing anything. You don't need to, you can just buy them. But we throw so many damaged things away, I'm like, yeah, we're gonna salvage some. Especially the way now material's gone over the past few years. Try not to use the exact same hole, just so you're getting fresh wood and the nail's going to hold good. If you ever feel like one just drops right in, put another nail in it. This is where the beauty of the AJC Mac Hatchet really comes in handy. It's that extra hand you don't have. Imagine with a hammer trying to hold this like that, and I mean, it can be done, but it's just so much easier. Okay, we're about to wrap up on this repair. Double check, I still haven't touched it. We're down to spotting the nails, sealing up everything, cleaning up the mess here. Hopefully both cameras are still on. I also carry a pack of tools, the DeWalt tool bag, so it's got some really good useful stuff in there. Steel saw, sawzall, toe kick saw, things like that. But another one is just a little blower. It works great when it's dry, especially if you cut wood, done repair stuff like that. It's rather nice. All right, so anywhere you've done work or split and loosened a seal, you're just putting a few dabs, not much. So this has a chance to stick better than waiting for a hot summer day where the shingle's naturally going to heat up and melt down. So yeah, the nail on the keyway there. You can spot that. You're not doing a big line, you're just doing a couple dabs. You're just seeing me drag it across to the next point where I'm squeezing it a little bit. This one I already gooped up under it. Okay. And then where those nail holes were on the ridge cap, they're going to be the worst probably. That's where you're going to want to put a little extra dab of this stuff. Now the holes in the ridge cap are okay in a sense because the next shingle that went under that we put in are covering that hole that went through down to the decking. This is more so they don't blow loose. Whoopsie. It's starting to get gross and wet out here. Alright, where were we? Right here. It's stuck. That last one where you pop the release, even on a no drip caulking gun, some tubes, they just, once it pushes it, it just builds up that last little bit of pressure. Be aware, it may want to ooze out a little bit further. And then I usually just kind of step on the shingles to make sure it's pressed down. You don't want them raised up in the process of that sealer drying. You're getting tacky and setting and holding the shingles up. When they're cold, it is going to be hard. It also just kind of helps press it out to a wider surface area, holding it down. That's about it. Clean up the mess and head down. Alright. I apologize for the possible mishap on the camera. Let's see here. Yep. GoPro's dead again. I apologize for that. I'm hoping to do more of this content, but I'm going to have to be a little more prepared, make sure the batteries are charged up, maybe buy a new set because these are old, years ago old. So anyway, hopefully you liked the video. If you could, give it a quick thumbs up. Sorry for the bad possible view down here. Don't have anyone here helping hold the camera, so I got to figure that stuff out. But if you like this kind of personal view, or what do they call it, first person view of the repair, let me know. Drop a comment, give it a thumbs up. It does help support the channel here more than you know. Until next time, be safe, and we'll see you on the next video.